Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to show you guys some. So what we're going to do is we're going to start working with some. We're going to start carrying out some matrix operations. So what does this mean, right? So as we've seen in the last video, right? So essentially, a matrix is just it's an array of numbers, right, which is stored in this rectangular form. So it's a 1, 2, 5, 6. So you have this matrix, and this is what? This is a 2 into 2 matrix, right? Because notice that it has 2 rows and 2 columns. But then what happens is when if you have more than one matrix, it's possible to do operations between them together. So we're going to just look at some of these basic rules. I think one rule which is, so these are discussed in the textbook as well from page 585. So one is, let's say if you have a matrix, so let's say if you have this condition that a matrix A is equal to matrix B, what does that mean? So essentially what this means is if you have a matrix A, which is let's say you have some numbers in the matrix A, B, C, D, and then you have another matrix B, which is let's say W, X, Y, Z. So you have these two matrices, and if this condition is given, this essentially means that all of these elements in matrix A are equal to their corresponding elements in matrix B. So this would mean what? This would mean that your A equals to W, your B is going to equal to X, your C is equal to Y, and your D is equal to Z. So if someone gives you two matrices and they say, these two matrices are equal in the sense that A is equal to B, that essentially means that all the elements of the first matrix, they have the identical number as all the elements in the second matrix. But notice something, if two matrices are equal, definitely you would need both of the matrices to have the same order, right? So this has to be this is a 2 into 2 matrix. So if this is equal to B, obviously B also has to have, 2 rows and 2 columns, right? So obviously two matrices can only be equal if they have the same order. So that is, one useful rule to know. The other rule, which is, also useful, is that if you have two matrices of the same order, you can also add them. You can add up these matrices. And I'll show you an example which is given in the textbook. So in the textbook, there's this example, which is example 15.2.6. So in 15.2.6, they give you these two matrices. So matrix A is 1, 2, 0, minus 4, minus 3, plus 4, minus 3, minus 1. And then matrix B is 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 2. So this is the example which is given in page 568, okay? So if these two matrices are given to you, notice that, first of all, they both have the same order, right? 2 rows and 3 columns. So this is a 2 into 3 matrix, and this is also a 2 into 3 matrix. Now, when you have these two types of, if I'm given these two matrices which have the same order, it's possible to carry out a matrix addition. So matrix addition is you can add the two matrices together. So what you do is you're going to take each element. Sorry, let's go back. So you're going to take each element of matrix A and you're going to add it with the corresponding element in matrix B. So it's going to be 1 plus 0, 2 plus 1, 0 plus 2, 4 plus 1, minus 3 plus 0, minus 1 plus 2. Okay, so if you do this simple addition, you're going to be left with a matrix which is 1, 3, 2, 5, minus 3, 1. Okay, so this is the result of adding the two matrices that were given to us. Yeah, so you can take two matrices, but again, just remember that if you want to add two matrices together, they both have to be of the same order. And then when you add them, you end up with a new matrix. Let's say this is new matrix C, but notice that this must also have the same order of A and B, right? So this also has 1, 2 rows and 3 columns. So this is also a 2 into 3 matrix. So what I would want you guys to do is in page 587, they have these rules on adding and multiplication by scalars. So you can go through this. So we looked at this basic rule of adding, but what is multiplication by scalars, right? So scalar is basically a constant. So the scalar multiplication rule says, suppose you take a matrix again, okay? Let's say I'm just going to take any matrix, 7, 8, 2, 5. Okay, so you have a matrix A. Now, if I'm so a multiplication by scalar would mean I'm going to take a number and I'm just going to multiply it to the matrix. So what is the matrix 5 into A? So this is just you take the number 5 and you multiply it with all the elements in the matrix. So 7 5s are 35, 8 5s are 40, 5 2s are 10, 5 5s are 25. Okay, so if this is matrix A, 5 is a scalar or a constant which is getting multiplied to the matrix, and then the resulting matrix is the matrix over here. And obviously it's something which is also of the same order, right? So this was a 2 into 2 matrix, and this is also a 2 into 2 matrix, right? So you guys should review all the rules on how to carry out addition and multiplication by scalars when you have these matrix operations. They're not very complicated, just do a few examples and you should be getting the hang of this.